Hey all, here with another Road to Masters. I wanted to do something a bit different today and talk about the mental side of the game. I think a concept I really want to drive home, and there's many different ways of saying this, but this is, I think you're going to improve the most when you worry more about your journey rather than the destination. I think everyone cares so much about the result. I have students telling me all the time, oh, I need to reach this rank. I feel so bad. I feel like I'm not doing good enough or anything like that. I have so many people reach out to me being like, essentially I'm not good enough or something like that. And I think it just creates a lot of pressure for you to do better. Your ego is tied to the results. And I used to be this way. I still am this way as well. My ego was always tied to my results. I was good or bad if I did well or didn't do well. And the result told me. My LP told me how good I was. I remember I was in Overwatch League, and every single year I was like, if I don't win a championship, I have failed. And let me tell you, it puts a lot of pressure on you. It puts a lot of stress. And we play games for fun. We live life to enjoy for the most part. I think a lot of us playing TFT, we're not in that hardship mode all the time, right? We're fortunate enough to play games. And I think that's really important, that we're fortunate enough to play games for, fun. At the end of the day, it's for fun, right? So I think we just need to focus more on why we are doing something, what we enjoy out of it, and we'll improve more naturally from it. I think having an open mind in a game like TFT is so important. You can't open yourself to possibilities if you're tilted. Even if you're not tilted necessarily, like strongly tilted, you're just slightly affected negatively. I think that's a big deal just for like how you perceive the game, how you think about your strongest board, all that stuff. If you want to focus on improvement, focus on enjoying things, especially if you feel like you're one of those people who are stressed out all the time. Because, TFT is about making a bunch of good decisions, not just every decision needs to be correct. So just go through the game trying your best and trying to make the board that you know how to make and all that good stuff. I'm gonna go with worth the wait here. I don't really have a direction. I think this is also good for no direction, but it could lead me down a bad direction given that I have AP items. Shimmer Scale is interesting. Shimmer Scale is like generically very good, but I don't really have a tank for it. So I'm kind of down for worth the wait and kind of just seeing what's gonna happen here. For 50 minutes spent, sure. Let's Leona print, and we are Arbiter printing as well. What is this? Are we in Gold Sum? Where are we in? Okay. Yeah, so I mean, this game, we can talk about the game now, but I do think it is important to talk about that mental note. I just think that's one of the most important things for improving. It's something I'm working on as well. It's not, easy, I will say. It's not easy, but it's something worthwhile. I think if you approach life this way, it's also much better for all of us, right? Like, life is about enjoying it. Life is very short, and we need to make the most of it. Here, I think Morello is just very, very good, but there's an argument that we just need to make real items on our Zoe, and Archangels is a real item. It's a good conduit item. I kind of like it more, and Open Belt is a bit better than Open Tier, I think. This could be Morello Void Staff. I think that's good, but I think I know I wrote some stuff about dpei being Shred Anti-Heal. Those are good once you have real items. Those are good once you have real items, but until you have real items as in real damage items, they're not that good. I would say Void Staff is arguably slightly different, where the stats on it are so good, but in general, if you look at the stats of Morello, it's basically 2 rods, so it's not very, very good. And the good news is that I'm guaranteed to have Zoe 3. So that's something I'm playing around, is getting a really great 3-item carry here. If this was just a normal Zoe 2, Morello is totally fine. But the fact that I'm going to be carrying the Zoe for a very, 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 very long time, I don't think I'm going to drop it off my board, right? I need to make real items for it as soon as possible. Technically, this is strongest, but I do need to keep in mind, I need Econ, maybe just more Arbiters printing for Arbiter. Sounds good. I might have to sell something if I lose, but hopefully I'm strong enough now. Yeah, so I think there was a decision between Morello and then Open Tier, and then you go for Void Staff. I don't think that's necessarily bad, but hopefully you guys see with real items that this Archangel should be better. I don't even like Archangels as a item. I think fights are super fast, especially as you get to late game, but Archangel surely is more AP than Morello. If you look at the stats of Morello, it's only 20 AP, which is basically just 2 rods. And then 1 mana regen, which is 1 tier. So it's like you put 2 rods and 1 tier on your Zoe. This one is like I put 2 rods, 1 tier, but also, I'm getting a lot more rods, a lot more flat AP as we go along in the fight. And fights in the early game are a bit longer than the late game. So fights in stage 2 and 3 are quite a bit longer than fights in stage 4, 5, 6, because you start getting scaling damage and you start getting real carries online, is the good thing. I hate this one. If you look at this, this is just 6 HP. 6 HP is basically one fight. So if you can improve your board, a lot of times this is not very good. I think this is good if you're like Anima. The 2 gold is good, but I don't think a lot of people choose this. So I'm going to choose 8 golds here. I think 8 golds versus 6 tactician HP. I'm going to choose 8 gold here. Warmog seems very good. Open Rod, no one ever got sued for an Open Rod, but I'm just going to complete my Warmogs here is kind of my thoughts, because I think I can start streaking here. Now we can level for something good like this. Shepherd sounds very good, very, very good. And we never need to slam, you know, on these weak people. There's no need to slam if we don't have to, right? Something fundamental. I've gone over this in my positioning video. If you haven't seen that, please check it out. Put your second strongest take on your weak side. You don't want this Meepsy dying without casting. So put your strongest tank in front of you as a default, and then put your second strongest tank on the other outside. You want your middle guys to be your weakest people so that they can cast their ability as well. Again, I go over this in my positioning video more in depth. But that's just like a basic fundamental thing that you should always do, is your tanks want to die equally between them. They want to all die at the same time, or your main tank dies first is arguably the best thing to happen, assuming it's like truly a strong main tank that can hold the enemy's team aggro for a long time. This would be a lot less good. Personally, I think this would be a lot less good, is doing something like this. Even if I have Warmogs, I want my team to distribute the tanking, and I all want them to attack earlier, if possible. This is better. This is 2 units, and this gives me 25 AP as well, so I'm not super fussed. I don't think we need to slam. They have 3 1-stars, and I'm level 5, so we should be good here. So all we're doing is just printing our Leona for Leona 3-star, tempoing that. I think there's a possibility I should have picked a offensive arbiter. I probably should have thought about it, actually. Yeah, I'm not even sure what my arbiter choices were, but it's possible because I'm playing around Zoe 3 that you play more around an offensive one. But this gives me a really good tank for a very, very long time, right? So I'm not really opposed to taking Leona Printer. Also, I should be casting quite a bit here in general. So now I could see a really big argument for something like this. I think this makes a lot more sense. If you're ready to actually start climbing, head over to tftgameplan.com. dpei's Disciples is my monthly coaching membership, and it gives you full access to my daily meta reads, weekly live Q&As, personalized feedback with unlimited spot reviews, and full access to my library of past coaching sessions, all for $15 a month. One-on-one coaching is also available if you want to improve even faster. Links are in the description below. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. These key units, these 3 units just give you access to 2 Shepherd, and Meepsy. Meepsy gives you access to 2 Shepherd, Alawi gives you access to Shepherd and Vanguard, and then Conduit, and then Voyager. It just connects a lot of really great traits, kind of no matter what you're playing, in my opinion. So that's something we'll want to do. It looks like Warmog's Declaw here. So we're not going to get... It does not look like we are going to easily get easy level choice here. It's weird. I think this is still better. Let's see how AP the lobby is. It's unclear. It's a bit unclear to me. I'm not going to reforge. I think Declaw is a pretty acceptable item, and Warmogs is very, very good. I think we would love Stone Plates. I think Stone Plate is very good on Leona. Maybe you could reforge it. I'm not sure. This matchup, I'm already down for Declaw. I really want to keep my streak here. I know I lost 1 interest, but again, keeping my streak here alive is good, and I'm adding a Zoe 2 onto my board. So, oh gosh. Okay, I was perfectly mispositioned, or they perfectly positioned, whichever way you want to think about it. This is really unfortunate because I did want to keep my win streak here as much as possible, and then I would have Zoe 3 on this next turn, which probably would be quite good. And we're not printing Leonas because my Zoes are not casting because they're dead pulling from Pike here. Replication makes a lot of sense here. I just need Zoe items. And I can use Tier, Blue Buff is not bad, Rod is not bad, and Bow is not bad. So I really want an offensive one if possible. This one could be interesting if I really wanted to play around Leona, but I would much rather play around my Zoe, and I need offensive items. This one could be offensive items, but it could not be. I think I'm just going to go Replication here. And it looks like bow and then go for red buff is pretty reasonable here. So we're going to use red buff and probably try to go for void staff, whichever one you think is tankier between Alawi put on the outside. Again, we want all our middle people to cast. Our little cat person casting twice is good. It's 20 AP whole board. So if they can cast, it's better. As long as Alawi gets one cast off, it's good. And then my Meepsy is protected in the middle. If you put Meepsy on the outside, that'd be terrible. They didn't even cast in this case, right? So hopefully you see the importance of it. But it does look like we are just quite a bit weaker here. We are not printing Leonas at all. We are printing them at an extraordinary slow rate. I think I'm okay selling this. We're on loose streak, so I'm not as keen on keeping the pairs as much. So yeah, maybe they have all rolled to get stronger, which would be great on their part, bad for me. 2 Space Groove is probably a bit better, and we can get red buff here. I thought this was going to be a very, very strong opener, but it looks like we are not strong at all, which is kind of surprising. Voyager should be better, helps my whole board. You could make an argument Nasus is a bit better just for stalling out. I think it's pretty reasonable, but I think Voyager is a bit better since it helps my whole entire board. I think the scarier people are on the right side. So this is something that you can also do, is put your strong side tank in front of their carry. I think in the other matchups, it was Broheim and someone who I was not very afraid of. So position for the people that make the most sense. And in this case, the people that make the most sense are the really strong people. This person had the whole, what's it called, board? The whole Yi Kindred board already. So they were looking quite strong here. We got a Leona. This Leona 3 is going to be very, 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 very slow. We'll see how this game goes. We're 69 HP. Not that good, I would say. But yeah. Size on my Leona. Pretty good synergy, I would say. Leona 3 is definitely coming at some point or another. This one's just 8 gold. This is basically like half an item is what you could think about it as. Or like an item. I'm not sure. I probably have a lot of gold. I'm down to get a bit more combats, but in general, I think 8 gold is a bit better. We should probably go for Void Staff. We're getting another bow here. Yeah, Void Staff. We're gonna eventually need Void Staff. So we did end up building the utility items on Zoe, but maybe less intentionally so. These psionics are actually quite good. I'm kind of okay with this. Oops. Yeah, I need to pick up this. I think we're going to be playing around that unit for a very long time. I think technically on cap, yeah, you're not going to. A lot of people try to hold on to Zoe 4 here. It just can't happen in time if you do the math and count it out. You need, I believe, 18 Zoe, so you need to live 18 rounds from here. We're talking about like late stage 6, 7 type thing, like something around there. And it's just not reasonable, right? The gold you tie up, just think about this as 2 gold per turn. That's pretty good, right? And it got us a really great unit for the augment. So it's definitely more of a tempo augment than anything. I'm very disappointed, I will say, with our Leonas. I'm very disappointed. I'm starting to think I should have taken a combat arbiter for my Zoe if there was one. Not sure if there was one, but if there was one that was gaining AP, probably quite a bit better because I am playing around the Zoe for a long time and I don't need to play around Leona. There's alternatives to the Leona, Nunu 2, Alawi 2, all that stuff. Mech 2 could all be completely acceptable as well. I wonder if this is better. We probably want to hold on to Mighty Mech. Don't know if we need to hold on to Pike. We should check our Psionic. Our Psionic is pretty reasonable. I think this is a combination people like to do. The thing is, I have no... Zoe is my only real unit. I would be just using this on Pike itself, which doesn't seem that good. I think with Leona, we're pretty much never playing around the Mech. But Mech 2 is pretty good. But I'm kind of okay to just never play around the Mech here and more play around these units instead, if possible. We don't really need to play Shepherd for what it's worth, so maybe I could just level and have add these 2 people, and then put the utility over here and the Sympathetic on Zoe. Sympathetic's not that good on Zoe, I would imagine. She doesn't really need the mana regen, and it's probably slightly worse than a real item, but that being said, you know, red buff isn't exactly... She's great at applying red buff, but attack speed isn't that good on her. Not sure how much that really matters. We're 2 away from Leona. We did natural 1 more Leona on the way. We need to be really afraid of the, not afraid, but cognizant of this player here with the Pike. We did get screwed by that last time. And then the Gwen, if you guys don't know, Gwen snips or targets the lowest percent health. So the Pike tags it, and then the Gwen ended up finishing it off. So they're really a cool assassin combo, and that comp has been rising up. Yeah, that comp has been rising up. We'd really like tank items here, but JG makes too much sense, I would say. JG makes too much sense. I think a level here is pretty reasonable. We have... I'm gonna try... Shepherd, Arbiter Shepherd. Just give me a higher chance of Leona here. This is conduit, better conduit. Not sure if Zoe likes red buff more. Probably does like red buff more. She applies it so well. Bard applies this well. I need to find a Leona item, so maybe I should have reforged my BF sword. It's generally always good to reforge first. I think it's going to be hard to play these people. But Aesol 2 does make sense. Probably better than Bard 1. Or not probably. Definitely better than Bard 1. We do need to get this Leona 2 online, though. As much as possible. We really, really do need to get this Leona. We have gotten 0 Leonas. So, I don't know if we're unlucky or if my Leona's just not casting. All my units are not casting. I'm not sure. But we really need the Leona 3. It's going to be my front line for a while. Conceptually here, we're looking for combat. I think we really, really, really want combat here of some sort. I have a lot of items. Getting more items isn't necessarily bad as long as you have units to put them on. But I think ideally we're looking for combat. My econ is totally fine here. This is just really good. It's Rabadon's. It's really great items here. So I'm quite keen on that. Hold the line is also very good as well. This gives me multiple carries. This makes my already good carries even better. And I have a lot of frontline units in this comp. I kind of like Hold the Line here. Call to Chaos is interesting, but I think this is quite a bit better. This is Voyager whole board. How do we fit everything? I guess going 9 is how we're going to fit everything, huh? Wonder if it's worth rolling here. That looks quite a bit better to me. Okay, yeah, I just feel like I need to roll for some frontline here of some sort. I do want to go 9 eventually, but, you know, I could hit Karma 2, Aesol 2, and that would be a lot better than Bardo right now, for sure. So, I know I want to go 9, but I also want to win these rounds, and my frontline is just a Leona 2 right now, which, as you could imagine in Stage 4, is not very good. So, even moving to Alawi 2 is pretty reasonable here. I think we do want real frontline. We definitely want real frontline if possible. At the same time, backline items aren't bad. We should probably just reforge this and look for... Now it's more flexible between a frontline and a backline item. Hopefully we can print this Leona 3 and then go straight to 9. But I don't hate rolling here. And we were rolling for this person for conduits. That way we could fit in this. I'm not opposed to rolling here. 3 big pairs. A Bard pair. This is crazy. Maybe we just remove her this. Put this here. Is Karma better than Zoe? We could... The Arbiter is technically doing nothing for what it's worth. I know I said protect my... put your second strongest tank over there, but at the same time, I'm quite afraid of my weak side being too weak. Or my strong side being too weak, rather. I don't know which one's stronger, actually. Both are... It's probably very similar, to be honest. It's probably very similar. We'll look at the consult the damage chart. I think it's somewhat similar. I'm not sure which one is better. The reason I'm able to roll here so much and why I leveled on 4-1, by the way, is I felt like I had enough gold to improve my board. I was off interval, but I had the free rolls and everything like that, so I feel like I had enough gold to improve my board in a meaningful way, which I think I did. Here we want Ari's Blessing. Obviously the belt would be really good, but I do think we want Ari's Blessing in the end. This one's slightly less good just because we already have Hold the Line, which gives us a ton of HP, but I really want the gold. I want to go 9. I want to add in another Hold the Line unit. I don't see a single frontline item here. We could go tier. Blue buff makes sense. I don't know if blue buff is very good on conduits. Mana regen should be okay, but they're mana locked, but it's got to be better, and I do want to be stronger right now. We're going to keep this Bardo for a long time. I think this is going to be my next, maybe last in. We still have not preempted the Leona. And I really want to win these rounds. So I'm gonna put my best items on my best units and then put utility items on this one. It could be argued, I don't actually know which one's better between Karma and this one. I don't want to waste a remover. Otherwise, I know Alawi is quite a bit stronger. I know Alawi is quite a bit stronger. I noticed all my matchups were on right side here, so I'm going to put my strong side in front of them, my strong side being Alawi and Leona, and then try to target, get further away from their damage, because my strong side isn't that strong. I think they might die fairly quickly here. Don't know how good blue buff is. Blue buff seems a bit better on Karma, so if I'm thinking about how my items are, and I think these guys might be close, maybe I should switch these items. Zoe's also fantastic with utility items. Again, I'm not really sure. This chart would actually be very disturbing to me, so I think I should switch these around already. So sometimes you don't know the answer, but you look at the damage chart, you look at your items. Oh wow, this ping pong ball is going like crazy over here. You look at your items, the blue buff isn't that good on conduits. I'm kind of already in line with switching these over, and that's why we want to be very careful about removers. Karma does like mana items, and it's not like red buff and void staff are like bad items necessarily. I would argue that they're two of the better items. But yeah, here snipers are on right side. So have I really not printed this Leona 3? Snipers are on right side. So I'm gonna more closely align my team to the right side here. I don't want to remove because I'm gonna have a lack of removers like I talked about. And I know Leona 3 is a bit better than Alawi 2. Right now, I think it's always good to think about the next step if you can. If you have the cognitive load, you should always try to think about the next step. And the next step for me right now is, what am I looking for in Treasure Armory? That's the next big decision that we have to make, is what am I looking for here? I'm looking for 2 components, and I'm looking for 2 tank components specifically. Now that I know that, I can look for it. This is Visage, pretty good. Can I do better? Maybe. I think I can do better than Visage. This is Warmogs. Warmogs is a lot better than Visage. Open Belt is fine. I don't like Visage because we're already a durability tank. If you haven't watched my tanking video, please go watch that. But we're already kind of a durability tank. So flat HP scales really well with Vanguards. I like this item a bit more, and I'm willing to settle here. Crazy that we still haven't gotten the Leonas. I need to check what this is. 50 mana, 10%. You do, every time you cast, that's 10%, 20%, and every time you cast, that's 10%. Haven't you casted twice in all my fights? Quite strange. Yeah, quite strange is what I will say, but what can you do? It is also fair enough. Forgot it was gold sub. We could level for Bard. We actually don't need that much gold. And the 3 conduit doesn't do much, but maybe Bard can print me some gold. I think Morg would also be pretty reasonable. I think it's totally fine to drop this Zoe once we hit Bard 2. As well. I think Zoe might be better at applying the exhaust, just because she ping-pongs the whole board, as we've seen. I think if we hit Bard 2, I can drop the Zoe and then add like a roster Morgana. We only have so many items, so if this Bard 2 is naked, that's no good. And if Bard 2 is better than Zoe 2, we should just drop the Zoe 2 and add more frontline to support my carries here. And we already discussed how we think Karma is, you know, a bit better. Karma 2 seems to be a bit better with Zoe with these particular items, and with my Arbiter not being a combat Arbiter, I think this makes a lot of sense. I know Zoe is doing a lot right now, but I'm going to believe that 2-star 5 cost is better than 3-star 2 cost for sure. That's where my intuition is telling me. I don't know for sure, but if Karma's better, then yeah, I already feel quite good about it. We finally got the Leona Prince. That's very good. I probably shouldn't have rolled there, and I probably should hold the Morgana. Like I said, we're looking for Morgana or Rost in this last slot as much as possible. I think people would think about like, oh, what about Meeple? It looks really nice, but Bard does nothing with Meeple, just so that you guys know. His meat bonus is giving other Meeples more meat bonus. So it sounds confusing, but basically he does nothing unless you have other Meeples to buff, which we don't. I'm not buffing out my 2-star 2 cost Meepsy. And I'm not going to play Rammus on this board. I already am playing Leona Printer, so yeah. If we had mana items, I think we would want to move over our items to Nunu, but with this being Blessing Sides, and with this being, I think, really good Leona items on the whole, like Warmogs is very good, and she likes Resist. That's a lot better. I think Nunu is the tank that we'll want to itemize next, but before we itemize the tank, stats are multiplicative on items, so we need to get a 3rd item on Zoe. Again, I'm trying to always think ahead. I'm always thinking ahead on what can I do to make my board better. Hopefully you guys are seeing I'm 1 step ahead, and so that way I'm prepared. I feel like TFT is all about preparation. It's it's a game against time. A lot of the times it's a game against time. Can I be more prepared than other people? Speak of the devil. Do we think that this is better? And then move items over to here. Zoe 3 is probably not that much worse. I think I'm going to put these items onto you, actually. I know Zoe is quite a bit worse, so we could do this. But I think they're about equal, and the total... Oh, sorry. The total gold cost of this unit versus this unit, this one's, you know, 18 gold, and this one's 4 golds. I feel like this one might be quite a bit better. If Karma was significantly better than Zoe, it'd be fine, but it's a team game, so you don't need to sell this Zoe here. All these units are still doing damage, especially with Hold the Line. Karma is still doing damage here. Let's take a look. She did 4,000 damage, so that's nothing to scoff at. I doubt, I'm not for sure, but I highly doubt that the Mighty Mech is doing more than 4,000 damage. Assuming that these were roughly equal. I kind of assume that it's not the case. So we really want to get a third damage item. Obviously, we're not going to double up on anti-heal. People sometimes take the dpei bis meme too seriously. Yeah, don't do that. So Jeweled Gauntlet is the obvious answer here. Void Staff, we already have a Void Staff, and Nashor's really only works well with crit. If I had one more remover, I think there's an argument, but JG also makes a lot of sense since I have a lot of flat AD over here. I think it's possible we could go 9. I'm not rolling for much, in my humble opinion. I'm not rolling for much. I could roll for Rost in this, but I could also go 9 with Ari's Blessing. Ari's Boon, sorry. We have a faster way of going 9. It's not ideal, but I do want to cap, and I'm 57 HP. I have a lot more rounds to play in TFT, so let's try to play as many rounds as possible and let's try to make our board as strong as possible, assuming we're going to live, you know, 5 more stages or whatever it is. In fact, I think I can sell this. I think Rost is an easy in, Mech is also a fine in, and Morgana is a fine in on 9 as well. So it looks like we might be playing around the Zoe. Again, I'm totally happy to move these items over to Bard 2, but we don't have it. I don't need to roll. It's no problem. And I'm looking to cap out higher on 10 if possible. If I needed to roll right now, I would roll for Rost 2, Morgana 2, and then try to sell this for Bard, like we talked about. And hopefully you see we're getting 2 gold a turn from Worth the Wait, really good augment. And then we're also getting 2 gold a turn from Ari's Boon, as well as the gold from streaking and all that stuff. So I think 9 is very, very possible, especially given that we're so high HP. I am very worried about... I don't think I'm very worried about this meeple person. I am very scared. I'm very scared, I will say, of this Pike person in particular. I'm going to move here. I'm hoping that it goes to the Karma. And the reason I put Karma up 1 is just from experience. I know that basically the Pike can hit this Zoe sometimes if the frame doesn't hit correctly. So I'm trying to give him some space to move up so that he can target this Bard. Instead of targeting, well, it did target my Sona. You see that sometimes it, like, if the Pike was here, for example, it's gonna just find the target over there. Wow, this Gwen is so smart. Me on Gwen, not really. I'm very bad at League of Legends. I don't even know what Gwen does in League of Legends, I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, wow. This Gwen is killing my weak side, and then had the Seekers. I probably should have positioned left here with my strongest tank. That way their Seekers couldn't stack. So definitely a positioning diff. This one is very interesting positioning wise to play against. We'll see if we can do a better job on the next one. As you can see, she killed all my weaker units on this one, so I probably should have moved over here. And given that this person was also my other matchup, we could have positioned my tank on left side no matter what. As you get higher and higher elo, people will start moving their units, but I would say right now, people aren't really moving their units too much. When you're in a good spot, also, you should try to play defense. I put this in quotes. Offense is just making your board as good as possible. Defense is if they have some crazy win condition. We might need to think about holding Ramesses. Dang, we didn't get a steal here for the dragon. Sad, and I missed econ as well. Pretty reasonable level here. Add Voyager whole board? Sure. I'm gonna put these items over here. Since I have hold the line, I'm gonna put you up here. Since I have hold the line, do we want more front line? Maybe Maybe more frontline is a bit better. I was thinking about getting more backline and trying to make a 3-star backliner, but maybe we just give these guys more time. I'm not really sure what's best, but I do have a Nunu 2 here. And I do think my cap is probably going to be Blitz 2 over Nunu 2. So it's a little column A and a little column B here. It looks like they're struggling versus the Urgot MF player, which I think I quite handily beat. So this is pretty good news for me. One downside is, you know, D-Claw is not very good in this MF fight. So if I had more gold, or sorry, more removers rather, I would put Crown Guard over here and put the D-Claw on something else, make your best tank, and call it a day, right? We could totally sell this, but it's just too expensive. Let's try to moderately improve my board. That's more than moderates, I would say. That is more than moderate. Optimize probably better on Sona here. She's a spellcaster, Bard's a conduit, so should definitely optimize her Sona. She loves casting as many times as possible here. I should probably be further away because I'm very afraid of this Urgot wrapping us, but I don't think it ends up being a problem. I think more could have gone over this person as well, but yeah, no problem. Hopefully you guys see how we can make strongest board, how positioning works, and really like the thought process of thinking ahead. I think that's the most important, is thinking ahead. And at the start of this, I was talking about having the correct mentality going into your game. And I think enjoying all the hard stuff about TFT is gonna have you improve far faster than focusing on the results. I don't care that I'm Platinum 3. I feel like I played this game well. Even though I'm Challenger and these are Platinum level players, like I feel like I played this game well, had the right thought process, and I had a lot of fun playing this game. This game was a lot of fun. I've never had Zoe worth the wait, and we got to play around it pretty like intuitively, I felt like, throughout the game. So really try to make sure you have fun. I think it's the fastest way to improve. Thank you guys all for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And until next time, have a great rest of your day. Bye.